In this video, I will be playing a game here on Leeches, and I see that we are playing against a 2177 ELO player. I'm playing with the white pieces, and I will be playing the Pegasus system opening, which is my own opening system. Starts with the move d4, and then on the second move we play knight to d2. But this video is, well, one, about the opening, but two, the most important thing here is that I actually try to win this game, because I have set myself the goal to reach at least 2200 rating before the end of the year. We are actually incredibly close by. I mean, only like 2000, only 25 points to go. So should be achievable. But let's see. It's not super easy to win games against players this strong. So b6, bishop b7. It's actually one of the least common lines, like against Pegasus. Like, who plays this? No one plays this, but I think we can just continue. Pawn c4, attack this. All right, and we are basically going to get the variation in which black plays a fianchetto. Okay, knight c3. And there are many, well, many. I mean, there are a couple of different variations in Pegasus. This is one of them. So c5. I think we just grab this. So this looks strange. Whenever I see c5 against Pegasus system, my response is to capture. That looks strange. A lot of players think, well, you are just helping them develop the bishop. Yes and no. We are helping them develop the bishop, but the bishop is actually horribly placed on that c5 square. It's not really doing anything. That's the first thing. And second, we are going to get this attack with the b4 pawn. Kick the bishop. Bishop has to move back. Sometimes they go b6, which is horrible. Here that's not possible, so they go bishop to e7. But you can see how all of these moves have basically led to just white gaining space. Means we got to push some pawns for free, and also white getting some good development. So all of this makes sense. Bishop b7, bishop e2, I think is the move, and we are going to castle. So there are a couple of very interesting strategies that we can play for in this position. Depends a little bit on the black setup. Are the pawns here or are the pawns there? And I'll figure out in a moment what we are going to do. Knight to d7 is somewhat of a strange move. It's like they are just copying me here, but I don't think this really helps them achieve anything. I don't think this helps them achieve anything. So capture in the center doesn't make sense. We help the bishop develop, so that's not something we want to do. Let's just castle and go into the middle game. All right. So there are many different strategies in this position for white if you want to play this. The b3 square is really a crucial square. You have the queen and the knight, and sometimes even your bishop, who can end up there. Most of the time it's the knight, so it controls the c5 square. Here it actually might end up being the queen as well. Knight is good if you have c5 control, but that's not really a thing here. There's also always pressure on this c-file. Usually both players should try to get a rook here. One of the crucial questions with this position is always, where is the queen going to go? Because you don't really want to have your queen on the d-file. It's a bit in the open. Having your queen on the c-file is also not great, since the queen opens up. Since this can open up and the queen can be under attack. So queen usually wants to be on e2 or e7. That's one of the possibilities. Both of our bishops are actually here, so that's not going to work out. And there's one more square where I would like to get my queen. I would like to get my queen here on a1. That's interesting. So let's see how we can achieve this. I think just rook c2, queen a1. And on a1, the queen is safe, protects a3, puts pressure on this diagonal. So that's a good square to get the queen. There. You could go this, which is a 3-move sequence, but I also like rook c2, queen a1, and then the other rook goes over to c1. And then we have a lot of pressure here and on the c-file. Okay, so they do take. They do take, which is interesting. We could recapture with the bishop or with the knight. I think the knight makes most sense, since it gives us the possibility of knight d6, which could be a very good move because it basically forces us to win a bishop. We also have two knights going to e5, and you can also see how all of my pieces are basically working together to control this e5 square. They are also a bit stuck. It's like they barely have any moves. And they also have to deal with this. And this knight is badly badly placed. I would say it's misplaced for them, really. So this looks good. Maybe we won't even need to play the Queen A1 sequence, but just in case you are wondering, like if you have positions like this, where should I go with the Queen? Queen A1 is generally interesting. And actually for black it's the same, Queen A8. I've played that, I think I've played this with both the black and the white side recently and over the board rated games. Okay, so we have knight d6. Knight d6 is a fork, which wins us the bishop pair, basically. Which is good. Knight e5 doesn't do much, but it's good that we control this square. I honestly think one of their moves might just be knight back to b8, but you don't really want to play that, but I think it might be. Might be what they need to play. Because it stops the whole knight d6 plan. There's also always just this and this to distract that bishop and then see if we could play the move knight d6 still. So let's see what they do. Okay, they play knight e4. I actually did not expect this move. Does this work? So it weakens this diagonal. So the first thing that comes to mind is queen d4, but that doesn't work. Also, this knight is unprotected. And if we can get rid of it, then we have that knight d6 sequence. So bishop d3 is a move. Bishop d3 is a move I can play. Maybe they play knight f6. Let's think for a moment here what we should do. I actually think bishop d3 is not going to help us because of knight f6. We could also play knight e5. Or this knight to e5. And queen b3. But queen b3, bishop d5 is a bit annoying. We don't want to pin ourselves. Queen a4, bishop c6. So getting a knight to e5 is probably the most interesting option. And then we also have this bishop f3 pin. We do have to watch out for bishop f6, but it's not really a problem because we end up winning material. So I guess knight e5 works. Like the black piece coordination is not so good. There should be something here. Okay, so they decide to just capture. So do we want to trade the queens ourselves? Well, I would actually like them to take my queen so my rook activates. So I think bishop takes e5 is good. So I have the move bishop f3. That was a plan because this pins the knight, and then if we can get rid of the knight, maybe there's something with that d6 square that we can try. But I think my opponent found a good sequence there with that knight e4. It looks like they have equalized. Like we don't, if we have an advantage, it's a very small advantage. There's not really anything huge that we have. That knight d6 is still the best plan, but how do we ever achieve it? Maybe bishop f3 is the best option. I was expecting this, but I think it's not a good move because they play f6, they attack the bishop, but they also weaken some light squares and they block in their own bishop. But where do we go? I don't really want to go f4 or here. I can't go here, so I have to drop back. But I might be inviting them into e5. I don't want to disconnect. Maybe I want to play just bishop b2. No, it's just to bishop e2. But now I think they have some weakness. Some light squared weakness. And they blocked in all of the opportunities to go to the f6 square at any moment. The reason I did not take the queen is because generally you only want to play for trades if they actually help you achieve something. And I feel like that queen trade just didn't do much. Except help them get a rook there. That's interesting. That's interesting. So they are threatening to win a piece, but I think I have my queen b3 move now, which adds some protection, and also I think the rook d1 is a good one, because oftentimes in this position it's really the queens that struggle. The queens can't seem to find any good squares, and that's what I'm trying to prove here, that my queen has a, as I said this in the beginning, right, this b3 square is important. Trying to prove that. Does he have something here? I don't think so. It looks like there is a tactic, but is there a tactic? I don't think there is. Oh, maybe there will be. Maybe knight here? But there is always bishop takes. I mean, he really weakened this. They really weakened this e6 square. Like, I saw that they had this potential move knight d2, but I think they always just mess up here, because look at how many attackers we have there. I think probably they realize now that this doesn't work. Yeah, they realized. So as I said before, right, this is really a weakness we can target. I think we can just take this, and it leads to winning the game, I think. We take, they take, we take. They move the king, and then we take the rook, and they cannot recapture because otherwise they lose their bishop. I think that just works. The other move we could play is h4, but I think if we just take and take and take with a check, they go sideways, we take the rook, and if they recapture, we take the bishop. So I think that works. And if they don't go along with the sequence, they also lose material here. So interesting, I don't know. I think they messed up here. I think that light squared diagonal they create is a big problem. But that's the thing, usually even around this level, most chess players actually still do make mistakes. Those mistakes can cost you. Like that f6 move, I think, was just a very bad move that they played. Just like this, we won a game. Yeah, because as I said, this sequence always wins as material. So at least we are already 9 points closer to reaching 2,200. So I definitely think it should be achievable here.